This is the Learnit Lounge, a podcast brought to you by Learnit. In each episode, I sit down with HR and L&D leaders to explore how learning programs have sparked real change, unlocked growth, built trust, and transformed the way that teams work. Hosted by me, Dr. Mickey Fitch-Collins, a facilitator and learning designer at Learnit, this podcast brings you the stories behind successful learning strategies, direct from the people driving them. Learnit is a live learning platform that's helped over 2 million professionals thrive inside some of the world's most respected companies. If you're looking for a partner to help you do the same, our contact info is in the show notes. Welcome to the Learnit Lounge, where learning leads to measurable impact. Your value isn't in what you build. It's in what you solve. On today's episode of the Learnit Lounge, we're going to be talking about how do we move from being in a support role to being in a strategic partner role, and how do we rewire that L&D mindset? Let's have that sit for just one moment. Your value isn't in what you build, it's in what you solve. Because for those of you that are out there in learning and development, chances are pretty good you've spent a lot of time being incredibly good at building things, building courses, building toolkits, building training rollouts. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That's not where your real value lies. Learning and development has traditionally been seen as the training department, the folks you call on when somebody says, hey, we need a course on X. And too often, we reinforce that identity by asking the wrong first question. What training do you need? How can I help? That question locks us into this service provider mindset. It tells the business, hey, we take orders. And that mindset is a major reason why learning and development often struggles to earn a seat at the strategy table. So here's the shift. Stop asking what training is needed. Start asking, what problem are we actually trying to solve? That one question repositions you from content creator to business partner. It opens the door to deeper diagnosis, better alignment, and solutions that go way beyond training. One tool I often recommend is a value creation compass, or some version of this. It helps teams map the real business drivers behind the ask. Is this about performance? Is this about retention, culture, risk? What are we looking at here? It helps you diagnose needs, not just gaps. Also, pay attention to how you talk about your work. If we're constantly saying things like, we're here to support you, it keeps us sounding small. It keeps us sounding like a support partner. What if instead you said, we're here to partner with you to solve high-impact problems? This echoes a lot of what Keith Ferrazzi shares in the book Never Lead Alone, that we're moving from these support functions to co-elevating roles where the team owns outcomes together. His framework for building challenging cultures, or challenge cultures, and agile team dynamics offers a really powerful lens through which learning and development folks can shift from being an order taker to an order orchestrator, rather than from being a support person to being a strategy maker. Order taker to orchestrator. Let that sink in for a minute. I can remember a moment early on in my career where I was really proud of this training program that I had built. It was super polished, it was super engaging, beautifully structured. I was getting fantastic feedback on it. Everybody wanted me to come to their team to do this training. But the problem is it kind of went nowhere. The impact was negligible. People enjoyed it. Did people have a good time? Absolutely. But I found out the problem is that I was designing a training to solve something that wasn't actually a problem at all. I had manufactured a problem and I had created a training that absolutely knocked it out of the park when it came to solving that particular problem, but nobody was actually having that problem. The people who were bringing me into their teams and groups said, yeah, we have this vague sense. People need this training. People need this stuff. But what they really needed was clearer processes, role expectations, concrete, actionable feedback. That was my wake-up call. From then on, I stopped leading with solutions and I started approaching people with curiosity. In one of the episodes that Damon did on his podcast for the Learn It All leader, Ash Panjwani described a similar turning point when she shifted from building what she thought was needed to co-defining leadership expectations with stakeholders. She did it through 60 to 70 different interviews. She looked at business alignment first and then programs second, right? Business alignment first, strategy first, programs and training and uptake second. So the big takeaway with all of this, the big mindset shift, if you want to be seen as a strategic partner, if you want to make sure that you are ready to have a seat at the table, then you need to act like you are ready for that seat at the table. If you want to be a strategic partner, then start acting like one. That means asking better questions, challenging those vague requests from other people, diagnosing the real issues, acting with curiosity, and speaking the language of outcomes, not just activities. Your credibility does not come from how much you build. It doesn't come from how much you ship. It comes from how you help the business solve. If this resonates with you, I hope you'll subscribe to the Learnit Lounge for lots more of solo episodes like this, as well as where I'm joined by lots of other guests talking about some really incredible things. If you want to connect or if you want to share your own story of shifting from a support role to a strategic partner, go ahead and find me on LinkedIn. Let's keep this conversation going.